generally speaking, this many people don't come out to see me. Even, you know,
What makes you think they did?
yeah. Did you hear that? He said, what makes you think they did? So in that case, I want to thank you all. So, and I want to thank you too for staying at least long enough. That's why he had me go next, because once Dana and the judge speak, you all would have left. So thank you very much. So I do want to leave some time for questions, but I anticipate some questions. Most of you here don't know me, so who are you? Why are you running? Why should we support you? Why should we vote for you? So let me take that kind of in order. Who am I? I'm Batman. That's who I am first. But most importantly, from my perspective, is I've been on a school board, I've been a town supervisor in a small town, Scipio. I've been on Cuyahoga County Legislature for 2 terms now. I was chair of that body for 2 years when the Democrats took control for the first time in history, in 16 and 17. I spent most of my career really, once I got through college, because it took me 14 years to actually get through college. But once I got through, I spent most of my career in community college, and at Cuyahoga Community College, most of that in continuing education. I've been on literally dozens of community boards and volunteer work with lots of community groups. So my foundation and my roots are absolutely in community, and that's why I'm running. One of the things that I've noticed, being a supervisor, being on a school board, being a legislator, and particularly being chair of the legislature, is much of what we need to do in localities is dependent upon help from Albany. That's just true in New York State. It's not true everywhere, but it is in Albany. Oftentimes we need resources in the form of money, or regulatory relief, or people, or something else, but we need help to get it done. That's the reason I'm so interested in running for the Assembly, because the Assembly is the closest thing to the community in state government. And it's critically important that whoever is in that position be a voice for the community. I'm that voice. The person that's been in there for 20 years, I'm sorry to say, has not been, will not be. I will be. That's why I'm running, and that's what I always promise people. It will help that I'm in the majority, because as Rachel says, that matters. It matters that you're in the majority. You get more attention, you have more resources, you have more access, and that's what you need to get resources, and so that's why I'm there. I believe we need jobs, and not just jobs, but good paying jobs, living jobs, jobs that pay enough so that people can live, stay in the area, keep our children in the area. I too have children, they're all gone. They're my children and nieces and nephews are in New York, in Albany, in Texas, or in Tennessee, and wherever. Very few of them are left around here, and most of that is jobs, because even these few minutes you've spent with me, I'm sure each of you would attest to the fact that they would be as close to me as possible if they just could get the kinds of jobs they needed to do so. So jobs are critically important. Obviously, we have infrastructure problems. Our roads, our bridges, our culverts, our water systems, they're in drastic and desperate need of repair and attention. We have health care issues. We're all familiar with those. I don't have to list those. And we have an issue of honesty and corruption in government at all levels. And it's stealing our faith and our confidence in our elected officials. And that's got to stop. That's critically important. One of the things I'm most proud of, a compliment I got, when I left Scipio, I was 3 terms as supervisor in Scipio before I ran for the legislature. The person I'd worked with that whole time said, you know, I can honestly say there's nothing that I can think of that you did that was based upon gain for you. Not a single thing. And I considered that high praise. Because even if you make the wrong decision, if you're doing it based upon a perspective that is designed to protect and promote and defend and put forth what's good for your community, then you can be forgiven. If you make the right decision and you do it because you're going to line your pocket, then there's something fundamentally wrong with you. So it's critically important that we hold the highest standards of ethics in elected officials. So that's the fundamental reason I'm running. The issues I mentioned is important. I'm going to tell you the truth. probably don't hear that often from politicians. I don't consider myself a politician, actually, but I'm running for an office. I'm in an office, so I guess I kind of am. But I'm going to tell you something. The Assembly is overwhelmingly Democratic. So when it comes to lots of issues, my vote is not essential. Not the way Rachel May's vote will be. Not the way Dana Balter's vote will be. Their votes will be critically important. Mine won't on these big issues. What my role will be, as I've mentioned, is to understand what our communities need, to translate that into solutions. Solutions we all agree on, and then go to Albany and get the resources we need. That will be my primary job. I will, of course, support the larger issues because I believe in them. But my job is going to be first to support our communities. And I think that's something we've lacked for a long, long time, and something that I will produce on. One of the things I tell when I go door to door, I was in Camillus today, and there was a lot of grass there, so my shoes and socks are wet. But one of the things I tell people when I go to doors is that I may fail to do something. There may be something we come up with that we need as a community, and I'll go to Albany and try to get it done and won't be able to do it. So I may fail, but if I fail, I will fail because we all have come together to come up with a solution. We've all attempted to find the resources that we need, and we just couldn't do it. I will never fail because I didn't attempt to do it. I will work tenaciously, focused, without the restraint and without the compromise on what's best for this community. All of the communities in 126, so that's why I'm running. So with that, I do want to answer not answer, but address one of the questions, because I have an opinion on just about everything. And I often say to people, because it's my opinion, it's probably right. Not necessarily, not always. I want to be clear on that, but often. But one of the things that and Hardy got my list because I wrote it down. Oh, property taxes, because I may agree with what Rachel said, but I want to speak to that just real quickly from the standpoint of a person in local government. In 2017, last year, Cuyahoga County was without an administrator, so as chair, I did the county budget. And so and I was very proud of that effort. Brought everyone together, and it was the first budget in the history of that county that was in balance, below the tax cap, with no layoffs or program cuts, because we did it collectively. One of the things you discover, though, when you do budgets in county government, is the extent to which mandates push you down, and that's what we've heard, and that's true. The thing that we don't often stop and think about is the impact of that mandate falls most heavily in the form of property tax. The property taxes are already high, so putting a cap on them is kind of just an arbitrary is the wrong word, is somewhat of an illusion. When we talk about taxes, and I said this and I'll say it to you all, we'll do a show of hands. Was people say, well, all taxes are too high, and I always say this, okay, here's my deal to you, my offer. You pay my property taxes, and I'll pay your income taxes. Anyone want to take me up on that? Absolutely not. Property taxes are the tax that are crushing middle class. They're the ones we have to do something about. The thing that concerns me about mandate relief, and when I get to the Assembly, I will be talking with my colleagues in the Senate and in the Assembly. The thing we got to be careful is that what will happen with the state, because I've seen it. I'll use a specific example. Last year, the state decided to take over the Indigent Defense Program. Great, that's a $750,000 cost for Cuyahoga County. Lots more for Onondaga County. That was really good. They're going to phase it in over a period of about 5-6 years. Thank you. Wait. They also decided that they would cut back on foster care. That's a $350,000 cut to Cuyahoga County. So in the first year, there was actually a net deficit. There was mandate relief, but it cost us additional money. That's the pattern the state has used for years and years and years, and it's something that those of us in elected positions have to be very aware of, because it doesn't help when the state giveth and the state taketh away. Blessed be the name of this state. we simply must change the way that occurs, the way that happens. So I think that's probably all I have to say. I had a story about ties, but I'll tell you that later. So are there any questions? You've asked everyone else at least once. If someone has to ask me a question, I'm going to feel really bad.
Any questions?
Oh, man, that's
All right,
hurtful. Oh, wait.
What's your favorite opinion?
My favorite opinion.
You said you had a lot of them, so I wanted to ask
Yeah, she's great.
What a tough